What up everyone, it's your man Xman87 here, bringing you another DC Multiverse video, and what I have for you today is the DC Multiverse Mr. Freeze action figure review. Before we get into everything, if you could please leave a thumbs up, like rating on the video, it'll help show your support for my channel and I greatly appreciate it. Now with that said, let's go! After his wife became terminally ill, Dr. Victor Freeze devoted his life to saving her and used cryogenics to freeze her to get time to find a cure. After being attacked by his boss Ferris Boyle and getting exposed to some of his chemicals, Freeze could only survive in sub-zero temperatures and built a special suit to keep himself alive, becoming Mr. Freeze.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
Now, Mr. Freeze is one of my favorite Batman villains of all time, and when I saw this at my local comic shop at Sailfish Comics, I was like, you know what, hey, let me give this a shot, because it looks cool, the armor looks cool, but then I started messing around with this, and then I realized, it's not so great as I thought it was going to be. First off, the head sculpt is awesome. He looks cold and calculating as he should be. I love that the dome or helmet, whatever you want to call it, really brings this character to life for me. That glare, that reflection could add so much for photos. Not even on a photogenic standpoint, just straight up admiring it. It's beautiful. I like the goggles painted in silver and red. You get this red sensor or thermometer, whatever it is, that keeps his suit leveled at the right temperature for him. And then you get the tubes and all that attached to the cryo tank right there. And I like the sculpt to it, but there's no paint, and that really sucks. And it's the paint job that really subtracts the appeal for me here. I don't like this light green and this like cream color and the white. Now I get Mr. Freeze wore white in the comics before. I get that. It just, I don't know. It didn't translate well here, and for me, I prefer Mr. Freeze in silver and blue on top of black. Like, if this was a silver and blue deco, it would just look beautiful. But you can see, look at the center right here where he has the padding on his abdomen. It's slanted. His whole torso is like slanted to the side, and it looks like he has a waist swivel. I mean, he does, but the thing is, it doesn't function as a waist swivel. It just stays still. This belt is glued onto the lower torso, so that sucks, because it means I can't straighten this and align it to the center. It's always going to stay off center like that, and it just looks like he's, pivoting off to his side, and it just kills the design for me. Now, I know they made a variant with the more retro colors, and while I like that for nostalgic purposes, it doesn't look good for the character in my mind's eye. I like to take the character seriously, but I can't take those colors seriously. And by the way, is this the first McFarlane figure that's pinless? He's pinless at the elbows. I mean, he has pins at the knees, but I'm surprised Toddy Mac here went pinless. At least this is the first one I encountered. Just remind you, I cherry pick McFarlane toys. So I know you guys will let me know in the comments. But that looks good, man. See, it makes the aesthetics look so much better, and especially on a suit like this. And then his legs, yeah, this off-white, it's just not doing it for me. Again, the sculpt is cool. It's just, it needed a better paint job. But yeah, you get lots of padding work, lots of line work, intricate details. The sculpt is there. You get his Astro Boy boots. I'm just kidding. Boots are fine to me, and except the shoe part of it, it's so clunky. I get Mr. Freeze wears clunky boots, but I don't like the way they look here in figure form. I don't know, something about it is off. Yeah, I think it could have been better.
Haha, little sissy boy. Alright, everyone, chill.
Oh man, Arnold's voice as Mr. Freeze scarred me for life. What was your favorite Mr. Freeze voice actor, by the way? Mine was either between the animated series, of course, and then the Arkham City Mr. Freeze, because that Mr. Freeze was a beast. He sounded just so cold, like a stone cold killer, man. I mean, the animated series one did too, but it's between the two of them for me. But as we take a look at accessories here, he just comes with his freeze gun, and again, it looks cool in design. He just got that one bit right there that's painted, and then his freeze blast right here. It's not removable. The blast effect is not removable, and that really sucks, because it looked like it was removable out of the package. At least it this part of the section, and it's not. It's like a strong plastic here, and it's this soft gummy plastic, and there's some stress marks in there. I feel like this can easily break and stress. I mean, I feel like it will. It just wiggles. This is executed poorly. Could have been a lot better than this. And I'm surprised they actually made him come with a gun. And I'm surprised with DC's, no gun rule. And I really don't know how this works, man. I know someone in the comments section from a previous review, when I asked about it, someone told me it has to be no trigger weapons at all. That's the rule. I mean, this is a blaster and it is a trigger weapon. It makes no sense. So blasters, crossbows, there it goes. It was the Mafex Huntress review where I asked that. And I'm like, those are trigger weapons. I'm not saying that's that person's fault for lying or anything. I don't know what source he got it from. That source could have been bullshitting too. But man, I don't even think DC knows their own freaking rules. Anyways, I'm just happy he comes with a freeze gun. It's like you're always gonna have to have him shooting though with this effect. You can't display it without him. So if you do display it, you don't want the blast effect to be seen in like your photography, you might have to lift it up just like this, and you can see I cut the effect out of the frame, and you might play with your angles and such. So, man, I love this character, but I think this freeze figure didn't do it for me. I'm excited for the Mezco Toys one coming out. I did see that on display when I went to Toy Fair, I believe. And that looks good because it has the light up features on his like tank and blaster, I believe. But it's just taking forever to release. So hopefully that can finally come out this year because I can't wait to get my hands on that one. Now let's cover Articulation for Mr. Freeze. And God, it just looks even worse every time I look at it being tilted to the side. Alright, so his head, you gotta remove the dome. By the way, he has a removable dome, which is nice. And you have left and right movement. He does look about that far up and that far down. He does pivot. Now the worst thing is if you're trying to get a pose and having him look in a certain direction, say for that instance, right, the head being slanted like that, the dome is going to push it a little more, so you might not get that angle that you want. Even if you want him looking off to the side, I mean, you're just going to have to kind of push it in there. It's just going to be challenging in some angles if you want a photo of him like looking down on Batman about to blast his freeze gun on him. Look, you see what I mean? It's just going to be a pain in the ass to get that certain angle you want to work with. Arms can move up about that high, so higher than a straight T-pose. Down, you can move them around. His butterfly joints just move in and out that far, not much. He does shift his arm up and down. He does have a bicep swivel, and I like that the shoulder pad is attached to the bicep here. You got the double jointed pinless elbows right there. Oh, actually, I just noticed he has pins in there. I don't know if you could tell on camera right there, but he does have pins. It's just hidden with this layered piece for the bicep sculpt. So, fooled me at first, but a brilliant look for the aesthetics. He's got a wrist swivel and a multi-directional wrist hinge. Ab crunch that moves about that far forward and that far back. He's got the upper torso swivel and it pivots real nice and it rocks around. His legs can spread about that far apart for a full split. His legs can kick up real high and he can kick that far back. You get a really good thigh swivel for a McFarlane figure, and then double jointed knees, no heel to the freeze butt. You got the boot swivel. Ankles move up that much, down only about that low. It does swivel as well, and it does pivot. Don't have much for comparisons because, again, I cherry-picked DC Multiverse, but here is Mr. Freeze next to an Arkham Asylum Batman. I wished we got in the Arkham City version of Mr. Freeze instead. That would have made for a better figure. Since he wasn't in the Arkham City collect-to-build Solomon Grundy wave, hopefully he'll be in the second wave if McFarlane decides to do another one. Because that design was epic, and he was the best boss battle in that game. To pair him up with some other villains, here he is next to the Mortal Kombat 11 Joker. Here he is next to the Man-Bat Mega Figure. Lastly, here he is next to the Bane Mega Figure. I'll have shorts for Bane and Man-Bat soon. Thanks for letting me know that you want to see some more DC Comics based figure reviews from me. I always listen to multiple feedbacks. And now to wrap things up, my final rating for Mr. Freeze is a 6.5 out of 10. This figure looked a lot better in promo images. Then again, they all do since those photos are always edited, so I guess my first sentence didn't mean much. Terrible way to start the final verdict here, Manny. This lack of sleep is killing me. I need some rest. Anyways, what is terrible is the tilted abdominal area where the padding is not aligned with the suit, and just the torso in general not being able to align properly with the body. It's goddamn awful looking. Another thing that's visually bothersome for me is the poor paint choice they went with. A metallic silver and blue would have been the better color palette combo. The freeze gun should have had a removable effect. It still looks nice, and I'm happy that at least they gave him his blaster. Because if they didn't, then why even bother making characters like this who need their blasters? Other than that, the sculpt is absolutely beautiful, which keeps my eyes busy all over his suit design. I like what was done with the arms to give him some kind of pinless treatment. It looks great. The head sculpt is fantastic and is my favorite part of the figure, which defines the character here for me. The articulation is very good despite no waist swivel and the head not being able to stay in certain angles, but that's not the articulation's fault. That's more of a functionality flaw with the design of his helmet. They should have given that area some room to breathe so that the dome gave more space for the head to move around freely and hold position. Alright, I need to get out of here as I'm heading out for vacation tomorrow at the time of this recording, so I gotta pack. I'm a last minute packer, but I filmed some videos and I'll see if I have any downtime on my trip to get them out while I'm gone. Anyways, Freeze is an okay figure, but I'd say if you want a good Mr. Freeze figure, maybe wait for a better one, or that Mezco version coming out. If you still like and want this one, then have at it, but maybe wait on a sale price if you can. Now I kick it back to you. What do you think of this Mr. Freeze figure? Which Batman villain would you like to see McFarlane tackle next in the DC Multiverse line? I think a comic Killer Croc or Firefly would make for some amazing looking figures, but if we're gonna keep it ice type based characters, then Killer Frost, because he's been doing a good job with the female figures lately. Comment below, let me know, we'll chat about it. That was my review. Please follow me on Instagram if you haven't already at xman87. Hit the notification bell so you always know when my latest videos are up. Share and subscribe if you're new. See you on the next video. Peace, peace.